Hello and welcome back to another episode of Survival Command Blocks. My name is Classic Tim. Last episode, we got these doors working perfectly. Nice 3x3 doors. And our staircase is still working just fine. So, this episode, I want to do something a little more just for convenience. So especially when you're recording or when you're traveling, you want it to be daytime. And this bed isn't always that reliable because sometimes it will be, morning, and sometimes it'll be, almost nighttime and you can't sleep yet, so you have to wait until it's totally nighttime and then you can sleep. Or it's raining during the day, or I'm off somewhere and don't actually have a bed with me. So I wanted to add something from modded Minecraft that I enjoyed, a sleeping bag. So I know that we can do this with command blocks, and the way we're going to do this at first, might not keep it like this, but we're just going to name this piece of wool right now sleeping bag. This might change later, but this is just temporary. So now, there is a way, let's come out here to get some space, to detect what item you're holding, and it goes something like this. So the first thing we need to do is add in a scoreboard objective of scoreboard objective add objectives add. I'm gonna go. Let's add something just called sleeping at the moment, and we'll make it a dummy variable. Okay, so that did that, and let's just go ahead and set that. Well, that should be 0 already. So, okay, and then what we need to do is make a little command block thing here in order to detect what we're holding. So we'll do scoreboard players set at A, so that's all the players, and then we'll take that sleeping scoreboard objective, and we're going to set that to 1, but we're going to set it for only players that have the that are holding the sleeping bag. So to do that, we're going to do selected item, which is what the player's holding, and then we'll open another one and do ID equals, well, we don't need to do Minecraft, just do wool, and then we also need to detect what it's named, so that way it's not, didn't do it for all wool, it's just going to do it for the wool that's named sleeping bag. So let's add in a comma there, and then I'm not sure, is it name sleeping bag? I'm not sure if that's it. We'll try it. Okay, so unfortunately it is not quite this simple just to do name colon comma, you have to do display, sorry, you have to do tag colon, and then do display colon again, open another one, then we can do name colon item name, which would be sleeping bag in quotation marks. Now, okay, so hold a normal piece of wool, nothing happens. Drag it over to the sleeping bag wool, something happens. This is going through, it's saying hi. And when I'm holding this, nothing happens. Switch to this. Switch back. Maybe I should add a couple things in there so it's easier to see that it's actually saying more, but yeah, obviously that works. Okay, so now all we have to do is set up some fancy commands to make it so you sleep. And I don't want it to just, set the time to 0. I want to actually make it feel like you're sleeping in a sleeping bag. So let's see if there's a way we can do that. Okay, so I made some space here underground just so I don't have to move it later. So we've got our original command block right here that is setting the score of sleeping to 1. But this isn't actually the command block we're going to be running off of, so I can actually just move this over just a little bit out of the way, just because this is going to be, well, actually, you know what, we are going to have to do something with this command block. So I'll just put it up against the wall right there. Alright, so now this one, continuously going, we're actually going to set this to always active, and then I need a redstone block. And just like on cue, it's getting nighttime here, so I'm going to have to sleep as well. Let's see, redstone block. Where do I keep my redstone blocks? Should have some. There's some. Just need one. Alright, and we'll take a quick sleep. Alright. Now, I do want to make it take a little bit of time, just so you can't sleep instantly. That would be unfair. So I'll put that there just to power this guy. And if we go ahead and select this, it will start activating. But once it activates, we don't want it to keep activating. So we're going to put a chain command block right here, make it conditional, and then do set block, which direction are we facing? -x, set block, -1, stone. Okay, so now once it activates, dang it, I always do that. 2 stone. And I'll just give myself a command block, just to make it for the one that I just destroyed. Get another repeating one there. And set this back. Please don't have it copied. Yes, I do. Needs redstone, repeat, good. Okay. So now when I select that piece of wool, it will... You know what, sometimes these command blocks, they're a little finicky. There we go. So now, when I select this, it'll set my score to 1 and also set this to stone so that way this repeating command block isn't still activating. So it'll stay 1, and then if I change it later, it won't continually be set to 1 until I'm after I'm already done sleeping. So that's the goal here. So now we're going to set up a new line here. Let's probably put it just right next to it right here. And we want this to be chain as well. Repeating. And then we're going to be testing for all players with the score of sleeping minimum equals 1. So this will detect if anyone has a score of 1, which this just set it to. Okay, and then when this continues along, put a little chain command block here. Actually, don't want to do that. I probably should have made sure I had all the stuff I needed, but we need a few repeaters and a comparator. Okay, so the idea behind this is I don't usually use comparators because the problem with comparators is if you trigger them and it's true, it'll turn on. And then it won't turn off until you trigger them again and it's false. So if you want something to continuously repeat as it's true, it'll just stay on and never trigger again. But in this case, it will actually work because I do only want to trigger it once and then shut it off. So, for right now, we'll just put a repeater there, and then we're going to put a few command blocks, one here. And then we don't want to sleep instantly, because if I'm just scrolling through my hotbar and accidentally hover over it, I don't want to sleep, So I want it to have a little bit of a delay. So that's what these command blocks are going to be for. So we'll do say sleeping in 3, put that there, then we'll put a repeater. Tick it all the way up. Say 2. Another repeater. Tick it all the way up. Put another one here. And just for size sake, let's move it over this way, just so it's angling this way, because this is the one we're going to do, say 3. Wait, no, I'm doing say 1 now. 1, and then one more command block. Actually, now that I think about it, this arrow doesn't actually have to be facing this way. It's only if we're going to put a chain command block next to it. But just for ease of access, we'll do it that way. Let's keep the light up in here. All right, then we'll put another one here. That's this one. Then this one will actually start the whole process. So now what we're going to do is we're going to scoreboard players set. I'm going to do everyone. I'm on a single player server, but I like to use these commands anyway. Set all players of sleeping to 0. The reason I'm doing this is this will have set it to 1. And then we're going to wait this long, and then we're going to detect, we're going to set it back to 0, and then put a chain command block here. And then we're going to detect this again. So set it to 0, and then we're going to trigger it up again if I'm still holding on to this. And if I am, that means... Shouldn't this be triggering? Because I'm pretty sure my score is 1. So this should actually be on, but we'll figure that out when we get to it. So yeah, it'll shut it off and then test again. So that means I'm still holding the sleeping bag. And if I'm still holding it, that means I do want to sleep. So then we'll actually start triggering the sleep here. So there's a few things I want to do. One thing is we want this to be unconditional because we want it to set whether or not this, we want to test whether or not this is set here. So then we're going to need to test this again. Right? Yes. Turn it off, turn it back on if the condition is still true, and then we'll detect if it's still 1. If it's still 1, then we'll come along, and now this will be where the sleep starts. So we'll set this one to conditional, only true if this all went through. And we'll make this always active, chain, good. So the first thing I want to do is give myself a slowness of 10. And we should probably do it. Take this. Give this person, everyone with that score of 1, slowness 10. We'll do it. Let's do it for 5 seconds of 10. Okay, so let's figure out why this isn't triggering. It may just be I have to break the command block and place it again. Always active. Good. Okay, so that all triggers. It says sleeping in 3, 2, 1. And something didn't go through. Like it should have. So it's set to 0. Oh, I wasn't holding the sleeping bag, so obviously that didn't go through. So that's what would happen if you are not holding the sleeping bag. It will just go all the way through, and nothing will happen. Sleeping in 3, 2, 1, and then I may actually put in something here to detect if that didn't happen, but, you know, then say something like not holding the sleeping bag, but for now this is fine. So we'll just set this back to always active, so that way it triggers again. And then we have to set this back to needs redstone, because if this is still triggering, this won't work. I missed it again. So for right now, let's just turn this to always active, and then we'll watch it go through. 3, 2, 1. That should have, why didn't this trigger? Slowness. Is that not how you do it? Oh, hold on. I'm doing give. It needs to be, silly me. It needs to be effect, not P. Slowness. Okay, so now we'll have to trigger it again. It's redstone. And then scoreboard, players set all, sleeping 0. So just reset all that. Okay, that'll be always active. All right, so hold this. It'll go through and give me a slowness of 10. So now I can't move. All right, and that'll happen for, what was that, 5 seconds? 5 seconds. So we'll be sleeping for 5 seconds technically. All right, and then let's do something. Let's add another one. Oh, that didn't work. I just glitched out my command blocks. Where are they? I do have some command blocks in here. I think they're just glitched. There they are. I knew they were hidden. Okay, so we'll put one of these down, put a conditional, and then let's do same exact thing, except we'll do blindness for 5 as well. So let's just break this and place it again to test that effect. That's not what I wanted. 3, 2, 1. I assume that didn't go through because I wasn't holding the sleeping bags. But to place this, hold the sleeping bag. Okay, so yeah, this will be us sleeping. It'll go all gray. because we're sleeping, so our eyes are shut. So we won't be able to see anything. Alright, and then after 5 seconds, after all that's triggered, so let's see, how long is about 5 seconds on a comparator? Oh, I don't have any more repeaters. Okay, so let's see how 10 repeaters, I totally forgot to set these at a reasonable amount here. There we go. Let's see how 10 repeaters at 4 ticks does. I'm not sure how long that actually is. I didn't feel like doing the math. And then this will be set to a redstone block here. So once this triggers, sets this to a redstone block. After several repeaters, it'll set the time to 0 and turn off any rain and whatever else we need to do. So for now, I'll just have to say set to good morning, just so I know when it triggers. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a go. We got our sleeping bag. If I hover over this, it'll say sleeping in 3, 2, 1. It said good morning right away. Oh, the redstone block gets set right next to this. Okay, so that's a failed test. Let's break that. And I'll go ahead and drop this because that's a spawned in redstone block. So we need to just move these over here. In fact, we may as well just put one here, throw a redstone block down. Or redstone dust. There we go. Okay, so we just have to separate this and then put this here and do say good morning. That looks right. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this back to 0 and try that again. Get our sleeping bag, hover over it. Good morning. Okay, so that looked like it's almost fast enough. I'm going to go ahead and just set this to 4 seconds instead and see how that looks. Because it said good morning a little bit before we woke up, and I want to make it a little bit closer than that. So let's set it back to 0. Get our sleeping bag. Wait for it. Oh, this was still a redstone block. So obviously that's not going to work. And it looks like the slowness actually lasts longer than the blindness. For some reason, I think the blindness has like a kind of a cooldown period. For like the last second, you're not blind anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to 5 seconds, see if we can remedy that a little bit. Okay, set this back to 0. Redstone block is gone. And go. 3, 2, 1. Sleeping. Yep, there we go. See, so now it all gets triggered at the exact same time. So, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and break that. And now that all this is set up, instead of this, we can do time set 0. And my command blocks. Let's set these to chain. Set a couple of these. We want it to also can we do weather clear? I think that's it, right? Weather clear. Change to clear weather, yeah. So we want to clear the weather, because that's what happens when you sleep as well. And then also we want to set all the redstone blocks back to their default state. So this one needs to be set back to a stone block here. So this is 159, 62, 63. Go and copy that. Oops, I deleted it somehow. 159, 62, 63. Copy that. Actually, these really don't even have to be conditional because it's all going to be true anyway. So set block, that block to stone. And then that block right there, which is 160, 62, 67, needs to be set back to a redstone block so the whole thing can be triggered again. But I do want to actually have quite a bit of a delay for that to happen as well. Because I don't want you to be able to sleep and then sleep again immediately after because you're still holding it. So Let's see. How much of a delay should we have? I don't really want to make a ton more repeaters. Well, we'll see how it works just without it. Set block to redstone block. That was the right one, right? 160, 62, 67, yes. Okay. So sets that to a redstone block, and I believe that's all we need to do. Oh yeah, and one more thing. We need to do the same thing that we did right here. Reset that back to 0, so that way the whole thing doesn't trigger again. Okay, so now we should have a working system. So let's just go ahead and set it back to 0, reset it. This shuts off. That's a stone block. This needs to be a redstone block. Okay, so now the system is reset and should reset itself upon completing. So let me go ahead, select this, sleeping 3, 2, 1, I'm sleeping, unselect that. And now it is morning. And as you can see, the time should be set. Yep, sun's coming back up. And if I want to, I could sleep again. Waking up, and there we go. So now, let's see. I'm still holding this. Take it off. Okay, see, so that's a problem. Because since I was still holding it, and none of this stuff was reset yet, since this was set back to a redstone block and I was still holding it, now the system is jammed. This is not set, and so this is not correct. So I guess I'm gonna have to add some sort of delay built in here to prevent that from happening. All right, so I thought about it, and I want to add a little bit more of a delay than just, a few repeaters. So I'm actually going to use a scoreboard objective to do this. So we'll do scoreboard objectives, add, and then we'll do sleep delay. Okay, and we'll set that to a dummy variable. All right, and then we're going to change this up to where this is going to be a chain repeat. Yeah, let's make this a chain. Okay. And actually, let's just move all these up. Let's put this here, make it conditional. Copy this in. And copy this in to here. Make this unconditional. Okay, so now that this is a chain command block, we need to set this to -3 now, so that way that will be triggered. We want to add in a little bit of a command block here to restart the system, make it needs redstone, repeat. And then we're going to get the time here. Let's see. Yeah, no, test for a player with sleep. How did I call that again? Sleep delay. Sleep delay, for example, to, let's say, see, there's 20 ticks in a second there should be. So let's do something like 2400, because that means that that's 2 minutes. So we can only sleep once every 2 minutes. So we don't have to wait until it's totally nighttime again, but we can't do it just immediately every time to kind of reset everything. So just 2 minutes, and that should be good. So that should not be triggered right now. Let's go ahead and put the redstone block back here. Need redstone. I can never tell if these things are actually activating. Let's go ahead and break it and put it back down. Okay, well I guess nothing's showing up because it just didn't find anything, because that should be triggering. And then make this conditional. Okay, so I'm just going to test this really quick and just say hi. So now it's not triggering. Why is that? Needs redstone. Repeat unconditional. It should be going through even though these are conditional. You know, the best way to test this would be to do this one. Say hi. Unconditional. Yeah, see, this is totally not triggering right now. Alright, there. Now it definitely triggered. Set this back to conditional. Add this. Okay. So now it is definitely triggering, but I need to place this again. I'm going to break it just to make sure it's actually triggering, because these things are being kind of weird at the moment. Okay, so now this is detecting, it's not going to activate unless that sleep delay is over 2400. And all we have to do that is add in a little bit of a repeating command block right here. Make that one always active. And then just do scoreboard, players, add it to everybody. Sleep delay 1. So now, if we go ahead and add that to our sidebar, should be adding it. Always active. See, I don't think this is actually triggering right now. There we go, now it is. So you can see that is ticking up pretty quickly, so that's why it's set so high. So once this goes to 2400, we'll be able to sleep again. So if I actually bring up my sleeping bag, nothing's going to happen when I select it, even though this is detecting it, until that goes over 2400, which again is 2 minutes. And also I should set sleeping back down to 0, so this all shuts off. Okay, so we still want to set that back to a redstone block when we're done. Sleeping to 0, yes. But at the end of this, we also want to scoreboard objectives. No, I want to scoreboard players, set all the players for sleep delay back to 0. So when it triggers, it'll be set back to 0, and it'll only trigger if I actually successfully sleep. If I, cut it off midway, it's not going to happen. So let's go ahead and set sleep delay to 2400. Okay, so now the delay is up above what the rate is. So if I go ahead and use this, it should do something. So this found me, so that means this should be triggering. There's no Minecraft. Wait, what? Oh, I accidentally copied this in before I deleted this. So this command is wrong. Okay, so now that's activated. We are sleeping. And now we're good. Now we're back awake. It is daytime again. The weather has been reset. It's nice and morning. And I'm still holding onto my sleeping bag, but I'm not sleeping again. And if we come back down here, that's still a redstone block. And no matter how many times I hover over this, it's not going to do anything until this gets set back up to 2400. And if I come back up here, go ahead and take a sleep. 3, 2, 1. Sleeping. And then wake back up. It is now morning. The sleep delay is set back to 0. And I can hover over this no problem. That's set back to a redstone block. And I think that we have a working sleeping bag. I might want to dye this a different color so I know exactly what it is. Maybe set it as like a red wool, because that's what the color of the bed is. It'd be cool if we could have like a custom icon. I don't know if there's a way to do that without making a texture pack. But even then, we'd still have to change some block. But, I'll be able to figure it out. Just, I'll just have the red wool in my inventory, and then whatever that is will be it. Now, I kind of wish I could make this delay a little bit longer. That seems to tick really fast. But definitely, if I'm set that back to 2400, if I'm just sliding through here, it's not going to trigger as I go. Actually, hang on. That's a problem. So we need to set that back to a redstone block if this doesn't trigger. So let's see, where is that? Sleeping bag, minimum 1. So yeah, we need another one right here to detect if this is a 0. So that way we'll set that back to a redstone block. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Okay, so now to fix that, it was kind of tricky to add anything over here. So basically what happens is, sets it back to 0, then it detects whether you're still holding the bag. If you are, this is where it tests that. So it'll test that. If you are, it'll go through. And if you are not, it's going to go through, but it's not going to activate any of these conditional command blocks. But it will activate this one because it's not conditional, whether or not this is true. And then here it'll detect whether it's false. See, for sleeping equals 0. So that means that this never went through, and that means that this isn't going to go through. This isn't going to this is not going to be set to a redstone block, and the signal's not going to go through, which means this will not get set back to a redstone block. So basically, then all that does is set that block to a redstone block. So if I go ahead and try and sleep now, but remove it, it's not going to go through, but this should have triggered. Found. Unknown command. Oh, there we go. Set block. I had a typo. And then I don't have any more redstone blocks. I'm gonna have to get myself one. Get that P. Redstone block. Okay, put that there. Okay, so now select it, take it off. Still gets set back to a redstone block. The sleep delay does not get triggered. And I can keep doing that until I actually sleep. And there I was. So I had it selected. So I'll sleep. I'll wake up. Sleep delay gets reset. That gets set back to a redstone block, but because the sleep delay is not high enough, it will not be triggered. So it is morning, and that's all good. So just for a test here, let's do, so set the time back to very late in the night, and then get a thunderstorm going. Okay, so now, very terrible time to be recording. Hover this, 3, 2, 1, sleep. And now, hopefully, when we wake up, it is correctly set the weather to clear and set it to morning, just as if we had slept in a bed. And we have a little bit of a delay. So the reason I still have it sleep so that way you can sleep in the morning, after 2 minutes. So is, when I'm playing and it's almost nighttime, I don't want to stop recording. I don't want to start recording because I'm going to have to wait, and then I'm going to have to sleep anyway in just a couple minutes as I start recording. So now I can sleep even if it's, almost nighttime. And of course, if it's raining, even during the day, I can clear that as well. So that means anytime I want, when I'm ready to start recording, I can sleep, start a new day, no rain, and that should make everything much nicer. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.